All right, next item is proclamations and announcements. Farmers Market is every Monday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. in front of the library. Springfield's National Night Out will be Tuesday, August 1st from 5 to 8 p.m. Jonathan Dayton High School, free admission. Explore Springfield and Union County's police, fire, EMS, OEM, and DPW vehicles, food trucks, an inflatable kid zone, obstacle course, and bounce house. And the rain date is the next clear night. Just a note, we are on a summer schedule, so to speak, for our meetings, and our next Township Committee meeting is Tuesday, August 8th, 7 p.m. The Fire Department, with regret, announces the passing of retired Captains Edward Cardinal and John Branning. Both served 25 years with the Township. Please keep the Cardinal and Branning families in your thoughts and prayers, and on behalf of the Township, the entire Township of Springfield, we offer our condolences to those two families. We also express our deep and profound sorrow that the Springfield Fire Department announces the passing of Lou Giordino. Lou served as a part-time inspector with the fire department since December 10th of 2014. He was responsible for enforcing and assisting the department in all aspects of fire prevention, and we send our condolences to the family as well. Lastly, we have Jerry Ann Kazmar coming up to talk about a community event set for July 22nd. So, Jerry, I appreciate your patience, and the floor is yours.
Great, thank you so much. And I'm here to invite not only you and your families, but the entire community together for this weekend. It's Saturday, July 22nd. It's the Catholic Church, so we are going to start with a Mass at 8 o'clock, but after that, we're going to have some bagels and some donuts, and then we're going to roll right into our activities that we have planned for the day. So I don't know if you know this, but St. James is in the middle of our centennial year. We're coming to the end of it, so we have been a part of this community, working and serving you for 100 years. And so we're kind of building on that 100th theme. So we want to make it a big family day where we can come together, pray together, have fun together, and help each other. So our goal is to make 100 cards for veterans, for children and adults in the hospital. We're making and praying 100 rosaries for our family, our country, and our church. That doesn't everybody have to participate in that. Collect 100 food items for the hungry, 100 books for kids, wash 100 cars with the proceeds going to the first aid squad. So we've hit a little bit of a snag with the car wash, just saying, because it seems that every Boy Scout we know is at the Jamboree this weekend. So if there's any kids out there that need community service hours, and it's every one of you that need it, so certainly come out on Saturday. We're going to be washing cars from like 9:30 to certainly 11:30, and we'll give you some hours, and that's a great way, again, for really to come out and help the community. We're really trying to be a light for everyone. And just really thinking about somebody else first, you can really change someone's day and even their outlook. And so really it's, a card for a sick child or an adult that says, we're thinking about you, you're wishing you well. It really does, can really uplift people and change their lives. So we're looking and we're hoping that everybody can come out there and be part of it. And so again, thank you very much for allowing me to come up here, and hope to see you all on Saturday. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. I have 3 additional announcements. First, I have a tax update. Just to make our residents aware, the issuance of the final tax bills will take place towards the end of August or early September, depending on the mail services. The tax rate for this year has been officially set at 2.336. The typical taxpayer can expect a deduction of $63.97 on their tax bill for the fourth quarter. If you have any further questions or specific concerns with your tax bill, you can get in touch with our tax collector at 973-912-2205. You can get in touch with our tax assessor at 973-912-2208, or our CFO at 973-912-2279, and we will put that information on our website and Facebook for residents to refer to. GOM update. The township continues to insist on continuous work with regard to our GOMS project. The redeveloper has retained a licensed asbestos contractor who's now removing asbestos from the siding of the old hair salon located at 26 Center Street. Upon completion of the asbestos removal, the redeveloper will provide proof of pest abatement pursuant to a court order. The removal of this structure should begin by August 1st. The sight lines on Morris Avenue and Center Street have been improved, and we will continue to insist that all insurance is in full force and effect, that the sidewalks are immediately opened on Morris Avenue and the wood fence is removed on Caldwell and Center Street. And as always, we will continue to keep you advised to the progress, and I'm sure Mr. Basicolo might have some things to add to that. Finally, I would like to thank and just acknowledge our first responders. On Saturday, it was a very busy day here in the Township of Springfield. Last Saturday, approximately 2 o'clock, there was a suspicious object that was abandoned during a bank robbery. A portion of Morris Avenue was temporarily closed. Numerous local and county emergency personnel were on scene. It was confirmed that the device posed no danger. No individuals had any injuries during this incident, and the investigation is ongoing. But I would like to thank the police department, fire department, and the county first responders for their support and collaborative effort. And if that wasn't enough, we had a second scenario around 4 p.m. that same day where there were live power lines down in the rear wooded area between Troy Village and Summit Hill. This situation was quickly contained by our fire department. JCP&L responded quickly, and power was soon restored with limited interruption to a relatively small amount of residents in both developments. And I would like to commend the fire department, Office of Emergency Management, and Auxiliary Police for their outstanding efforts responding to the emergency and again ensuring the safety of everyone involved. So a busy day on Saturday, but no one was hurt, no one was harmed, and that was largely due to the fact of our first responders, and we appreciate what they do every day. Does anyone on the Township Committee have any other announcements? All right, we will move on to public comments on agenda items only. If any member of the public has a comment?
Proclamation you have to read.
No, I want to wait for the family to be here. I appreciate it, though. There is a proclamation on here for Bagel Supreme, but I want to wait for the owners and the family to be here to present that. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it tonight. Public comment on agenda items only. Anyone from the public wishing to comment on agenda items only, I ask you to please come forward at this time. You'll have 4 minutes to speak at the microphone, after which the Township Committee may respond. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the meeting, and we'll move on to reports. And first off is our administration report. Good evening, Mr. Basicolo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to continue a little bit on with the Gomes project. They also have, at this point, the second floor that you can only see the bottom of. The decking has been put down and some of the flooring has been poured. If you look along the front of Morris Avenue, there's additional framing now that has been done going east on Morris Avenue. Yes, they have pushed the sightlines back on both corners, and they're in the process of, they framed out the there's a wall, a short wall on the Center Street side that was framed out today. That's going to be poured this week. They're waiting for 6-inch block to come in to be able to do the Caldwell side. But if you look now, both sides have been backfilled. We're at a point where we got to continue to keep after them to get the fence pushed into the building to open up sidewalks on both sides. I also asked the owner, the fence on Morris Avenue is in the sidewalk. There's a couple of feet behind it that fence actually can be moved back towards the building, making the sidewalk fully open along Morris. There's no reason we can't do that. So we will speak to Mr. Trank, our attorney, and ask them once again either to move it or set him loose on him. So that's, Gomes again is continuing to make progress. As you pointed out, the asbestos is being removed. The salon will be taken down shortly. They did put a construction trailer in, so it actually does look like an active construction site. They had activity going on there this morning. Again, we're up there every day checking on them. So if anybody has any questions, comments, or anything, we'd be happy to answer what we can on that. I do want to touch on, I think the last time we mentioned that we have 2 potential developments that have come to us. And at this point, I can't give you details yet because we're in the infancy. But I will let you know, one developer has actually purchased one of the buildings. outright. So that obviously is going to go ahead. The other one that we're looking at, we had a meeting today on, we're not satisfied yet with the design, the density, the parking, et cetera. So we're still working on that, but both of them are alive and kicking. So we're cautiously optimistic that we could end up hopefully with two brand-new buildings in the center of town, which will certainly help our idea of trying to revitalize the downtown. It's going to take some time, but little by little, we will get there. I want to touch on a few things from DPW. We desilted the basin gateways that lead to the Rollway River, and I know, Mr. Huber, you saw we had the equipment out there. We only were able to rent it for 10 days at a time. We did as much desilting as we can. We will get back and do it again when it's back. That increases the flow of water away from residential areas. Other desilting included the floor of the outflow pipes and the stream on the opposite side of the retention basin. Storm and sanitary improvements. We awarded the storm culvert and sanitary improvements on July 6th, and that includes the replacement of the storm culvert and the head wall on Kane, sanitary spot repairs on Colonial, sanitary upgrade. We're relining 300 feet of pipe on Baltusrol. What we found when we cambered it is that it's not collapsed, but we're starting to see spider cracks in it. So instead of letting that go, we reline the inside, and that's just preventive maintenance. Additional drainage on a small section of South Maple we're working on also. Road renovations. Specs were advertised to bidders on 720 for road improvements for Troy Drive and Stone Road. The Laurel tennis courts were finished this week, and those are brand new. And we did some crack sealing on Irwin and anchor replacement on the tennis courts there. We had a little bit of money left over from the grant that we had on Laurel, so we used it on Irwin. Wood carpeting has been replaced at 4 playgrounds. Chisholm, we did an upgrade to and we couldn't figure out what to call it. There was a piece of equipment for the kids that's like a climber. It was in pretty bad shape. We took it out. It was in disrepair, and we're replacing it with a new, kind of like a climbing wall. So you'll see that. Other than that, I think, I know one other thing I did want to touch on. We talked about our health insurance, and we went out last year. We issued a PO and a check tomorrow for the state to give us, again, our experience. What you have to do is you have to go out and get your experiences so that you can take those out to the marketplace and see what it would cost us to get insured. So that costs us $2,000 to get that report. We're going to send it out to various, in the marketplace, to various vendors and see what we get back. We'll report on that as they come in. So we're attempting again to try to make sure that our costs on health insurance are as low as we can possibly get. Other than that, if there's any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer if I can.
Does anyone have a question for Mr. Paciculo? All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John. We'll move on to new business. We have 3 ordinances for first reading. Madam Clerk, can you please read the first ordinance?
Sure.
Title.
Ordinance 2023-15, this ordinance amends the Township Code at Chapter 7 to amend the Township's traffic regulations prohibiting right turns on red at certain intersections and times.
Make
A motion?
a motion to adopt ordinance 23, as read by Madam Clerk, publicized in the local source July 27, 2023, with final hearing on August 8, 2023.
Any discussion on this?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser? Yes. Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer?
Yes.
Mayor Kapides?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-16, this ordinance is appropriating the sum of $230,000 from the Swimming Pool Capital Fund and capital improvement balances of the township for pool improvements.
I will make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-16 as read by Madam Clerk and publicized in the local source on July 27, 2023, with a final hearing on August 8, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Capides.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-17. This ordinance amends provisions in Chapter 2 of the Township Code regarding the promulgation of rules and regulations for the Township's Police Department.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-17 as read by Madam Clerk, publicized in local source July 27, 2023, final hearing on August 8th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion or questions about this? Okay, roll call, please.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Mayor Capides.
Yes, before we go with resolutions on consent agenda, can I have a motion to add Resolution 2023-199 as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Do
Second.
I need a roll call on this? Roll call, please.
Okay. Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Capides.
Yes.
Do you want me to read the title of this? Or?
Yes, please.
Resolution 2023-199. This resolution authorizes an extension of the Township Shared Services Agreement with the Township of Bloomfield for local public health services.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're going to do this by consent agenda. If you'd like to pull a resolution, please let me know. 2023-191, 192, 193, 194, 195, 196, 197, 198, and 199. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to adopt the following resolutions on consent agenda. Resolution 2023-191 through Resolution 2023-199.
Second. Would you like to, but I think you should read 199 for the public to know what it is.
We just did.
I just read.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer. Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Capides.
Yes. Finance?
No discussion and action items. I will make a motion to adopt payroll and invoices for the period of June 28th, June 28th through July 18th, 2023, in the amount of $5,204,558.89.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Capides.
Yes.
Everybody should have received the June budget report, the June pool budget report, the June revenue report, and the June pool revenue report.
Thank you. We have one correspondence from Westfield regarding ordinance 2023-27, land use to establish requirements for residential roof decks within CBD and GB1 zones. The public hearing will be on August 15th, 2023. I ask that it be received and filed. And lastly, we have public comment on any governmental issue. Anyone from the public wishing to be heard, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee may respond.
Hello, folks. Chuck Scamato, 45 Christie Lane. I have 2 comments and a question. Comment number 1, I would like to have a big thank you to Diane Sherry, the CFO of Springfield. I've asked a ton of questions of her over the past couple weeks, and she's responded promptly to all of my, mostly all of my questions. So I appreciate that. I really appreciate the transparency, and thank you for that. All right, comment number 2, I wanted to clarify something that was said at the last Township Committee meeting on, I believe it was June 27th. When we were talking about the budget for 2023, and specifically around the pay down of the debt that was made. I believe Deputy Mayor Kaiser had said that paying down the debt, or not paying down the debt, would cost the township $500,000 in interest and professional fees. I want to clarify that. The debt amounts $2.5 million, right, what we're talking about, and it's a 4% interest rate. So over a period of 10 years, it would have cost $500,000, which is about $50,000 a year on average. Obviously, the early years are going to be more, the later years are going to be less. But we're talking about an average is $50,000 a year in savings that were made, which is, let's call it less than 0.1% of the total appropriations of the entire budget. Very small. The point I'm trying to make here is paying down the $2.5 million in principal in one single year instead of spreading it over 10 years was a bad decision. It was 4%. I've reviewed the township's policy on investments. We're not going to get more than 4% on our investments. That's fine. That's what we're allowed to do. So I can see why we would do it. What I wouldn't have done, and maybe you guys regret this decision, maybe you don't, I wouldn't have paid it in 2023. Because this is what you guys have all referred to as the toughest budget year we've had in a really long time. And the final numbers are out. Springfield's at a 7.7% increase in our tax bills right now. Okay, 7.7%, and that's including municipal, which, by the way, was a 13% increase in the rate. And it includes schools, which was much less, includes county, and much less. Right? People are feeling this. I have almost $2,000 in taxes I have to pay now, in addition to last year. I got to close that gap somehow. Okay, 7.7%. Union County towns, Roselle, decrease of 0.5%. Berkeley Heights, increase of 0.6%. Cranford, 0.8%. Summit, 1%. Scotch Plains, 1.2%. New Providence, 1.4%. The list goes on. The only one that's close to us is Elizabeth, 6.1%. We're dead last. And it's mostly because of this debt, among other things. Okay, so my point is we shouldn't have done this year. Okay? If you'd done this in a year that we didn't raise taxes, nobody's going to bat an eye. But now we got to have cash come out of our pockets because of it. My question is somewhat related to this. We've been talking a lot about healthcare costs, right, for various folks that work for the town. This seems to, I think it was presented as a pervasive issue that all the towns are dealing with. Clearly with this data, I don't think a lot of these towns are dealing with this the way that we're dealing with it. So my question is, and John, you've kind of touched on this already, what are we doing about the healthcare costs specifically, and can we expect some kind of decrease in the next coming year or even beyond that? We have to do something about these costs because that's the single biggest item, health insurance, aside from the debt and aside from the emergency appropriations that were already built into this year that we have to deal with. So that's my question, and hopefully we can continue the dialogue and continue to learn more about the process. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Does anyone else from the public wish to come forward?
Brian Landsman, 23 South Springfield Avenue. Those of you up here who know me know that I'm rather respectful and have nothing really negative to say. I got to say, I've been coming here in the construction industry also, and just these constant updates about the Gomes project, about these positive spins with a trailer being there with, hey, maybe this building will come down, maybe there's more wood coming. I mean, it's really just so disrespectful to residents to give such false hope when everybody in town knows that nothing can be done at this level, that they have us completely played. And I really just would love to just stop saying the same things over and over again every single meeting about a trailer being up, about, hey, maybe we're gonna move a fence. It's just enough, and everybody knows it, so please just give us a little more respect and enough with these ridiculous updates. I appreciate it.
Unfortunately, Mr. Landsman, I appreciate your comments, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you. I think I've gotten, and I think the Township Committee has gotten a lot of positive comments about the progress. I can't speak for what happened before this year, but everybody's been tired of seeing nothing happening. And for the first time this year, we have had more things going on than ever before. And I think people are getting excited about it. I think people want to know what's going on. We've had so many comments up here about people being in the dark, us not responding, us not being as transparent as possible. And I think you know me just as well. I've always prided myself as being as transparent as possible whenever I can, however I can, on every sort of platform that I can. And I'm a fan of having everyone in the town having the information, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. I'd rather have the information than not. And that's the way that I have been doing that updates. I take responsibility for those updates because I'm the one who requested them. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm sorry you're not happy with them. I do not believe for a second that we're spinning wheels or we're fooling anybody. I think those updates are well received and very much appreciated, and I respectfully disagree with your opinion. Sure.
It's not a back and forth, just, we're going to stop that right now. Mr. Mayor, it kind of started on my term last year. I think I gave one of my last two meetings, I gave a kind of an update when we kind of were fed up with the status of Gomes. And I felt that it went over well then to give a public update, and I can't compliment you enough on that you've made it a priority almost every single meeting, to provide an update that whether it was no progress or not on what the township is doing. And I feel it is well received. This year, right, we made a change in our leadership, in our attorney representing us in our redevelopment, because the township committee up here decided that enough was enough, and we were moving on after a prior attorney was retained from what I believe is prior administrations. So to say that I don't even know the terminology that was used, we're trying our best, like everybody else in this town, to see this project move forward, because we're all in this town together. And this goes to the taxation issue. We're all in this together. It's not us not paying taxes and just the public. We're all paying taxes. It's not us just not wanting to see one building move forward. It's the whole community that wants to see it move forward. It's while up here, under this term of myself, Mayor Capides, Committeeman Weber, and Committeeman Huber for the most part, I think we've started more redevelopment projects with us than any previous administration. And it is coming to fruition. If you drive down Milburn Ave, where I live by, there's a giant project that's about to net this community about $1 million from pilot money. That was the leadership of this township committee, of this administration, after 30 years of a site neglected. The Gomes site, there's no doubt, it's not our proudest moment. But to be fair, and not to pass the buck because the buck stops here, we didn't start that project. But damn well, we're going to finish it. And that is why we made changes to how we went about, got a construction official to help and to guide us in this, got a new township, got a new attorney to guide us, and finally go after somebody who I think we can all agree is not the ideal developer, but we're not going to sit back idly. And to say that we're giving updates so it's just lying is just ludicrous. And you know, I'm sorry that but it's definitely a small few that might just be loud. But to Mayor, keep doing the updates because I know it's appreciated. And trust me, I saw somebody the other day that stopped me on the street, and he said he appreciated all the updates. So thank you.
Well, and again, Deputy Mayor Kaiser, I appreciate you starting the change over to the process, and I still believe in my heart of hearts, the more months that go on, the more people will see on that site, and it will get done. Obviously not in the time that everybody wants, but I'd rather have, you know, the information out there and people get updated about what's going on, because I'm frankly tired of hearing what's going on with Gomes, what's going on with Gomes, what's going on with the center of town. At least I'm giving people the answers that they're looking for. Maybe they don't agree with it, but it's the answers that I believe people should have.
So I'm going to answer both of you gentlemen comments, okay? I'm in my 5th year here. Haven't seen one of you at a budget hearing for 5 years. Mark Hinkes over there, I can co-sign that he is here at every meeting. Whether him or I disagree or not, he's here, all right? I got 20 people online who chirp like canaries all day long. It's nonstop. Number 2, I think I'm the one that broke the shovel on Milburn at Saks over there while I was mayor. But according online, these people don't even know that this project is in Springfield, and they think it's in Milburn. Okay, but the same 5 idiots up here who can get a project done that's 3 times the size of Gomes, get it done timely, efficiently, and on schedule in a proper manner, can't get this done. That doesn't correlate. It doesn't correlate. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to sit here and come to meetings, every meeting, no matter what you do on a Tuesday at 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, come here and see how much fun it is to sit here and be here and then be second-guessed and judged on every decision that you make. Because we had multiple budget hearings on this budget. I've asked online to these same canaries, and you can quote me on that term all you want. Find me in this budget where we spent excessive amounts of money, or we frivolously spent township funds. There isn't any cases. You can't show me any. What we did was, what we're guilty of is, yeah, we're guilty of selling a building, getting money for it, and attempting to be responsible and pay off debt. That's what we're guilty of. You can do what you want. We can go back and forth on this all you want. But if it was up to me, I wanted to spend the money on a splash park. I fought. And you can quote me on that one too. I looked to spend about $700,000 on that money for a splash park. I would have just spent a lot of it because I thought that was better for the community. But then in retrospect, I look and I called the CFO afterwards. And I said, you know what? I think paying down the debt was the more responsible thing. Now, you can spin it any way you want, but I'm standing by the fact that it plugged the hole for 1 year. That's all it did. And we still would have had an issue next year. And whether you say that or not, you guys can chirp on it all you want and go back to it. But the fact of the matter is, these meetings are done in the public like this, so the township has a say in it. Not one person was here on multiple budget meetings. I'm pleased that you're here now. I don't want to fight with you. I'm happy that you're here right now because it makes my job easier. Because if you sit here and you come up to a podium and you go, well, what about this, this, and this? That gives us something to think about at this point. So I'm happy that you're here. I hope that you continue to be here. I hope both of you continue to be here, all of you. But again, you know, the Gomes building, sure, are they silly updates? Probably. But that's the best we have right now with this. I live 2 blocks off of there. You think I want to look at the building every day? I don't. But we go by what our lawyers do, and we go by what our lawyers say. We go by whatever legal means we have possible to make this thing happen. So we switch directions, and we try to do what we can do. Finally, we have some progress done. Whether it's as simple as putting a trailer in or moving a fence, we're working on it, you know. I hope to see that you guys continue coming to the meetings. It would mean a lot to me.
I'm in construction also. And when Gomes started, I tried getting a schedule. If you know anything about construction is run by schedules. And they hemmed and hawed, and they wouldn't give it to us, and we had no ordinance. But from learning from Gomes, we have ordinances now. We are going to get a schedule, and they are going to be. Gomes has been fined on how many thousands of dollars. He's also paying for a PM that goes in there, is it once a week, John, or?
Whenever our redevelopment team wants to meet
Yeah.
with them, yes.
He goes in there and makes sure that everything's getting done. The last 2 months, 3 months, more has been done in than in the last 2 years. I mean, and we're trying to get it done. I live a block away. I mean, I pass it every morning. And we're trying to get that done. Any other projects that's starting in this town, before it shovels in the ground, we get a schedule. And you understand, it could fluctuate a month or two. And every time it does. But it won't fluctuate like a year or two. They will be fined more than, as much as we can. That's what we're gonna do. So, as far as the budget, yeah, I've been here 13 years. And then most people we've had, and I said this at one of the meetings, when the mayor was here with me, we've had 2 people the most show up at a budget meeting, any type of budget meeting. And I understand this. I got hit, everybody got hit. But, you know, there's nothing I could do about it. But the budget is good, the best we could do. You might not agree with us, but we, you know, we asked for help. We asked the public. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Sure. So I'm not going to talk about Gomes. Chuck, I forgot your last name, so you mind if I call you Chuck? So the magic in our healthcare pricing is in that claims data. As Mr. Basicolo said, we just got new claims data, or we're in the process of getting new claims data. Then we'll have a much clearer picture whether or not we can say, I can tell you based on my vote, we need to save money wherever we can. And that could mean a change in insurance, that could mean staying where we are, but it's important that we explore those options because that is the single biggest expenditure that we have. So you have my word that we're going to look into it, and it's going to be an honest and open process.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to come forward to speak on any governmental issue? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the meeting. And at this time, I'm going to ask for an adjournment. Motion?
Motion?
Second? All in favor?